I didn't speak a lot of Spanish, but the one thing that we all knew is we were all moms that didn't have a whole lot of anything, and we wanted the best for our kids.
The more time you have with you, when you have nothing to do, it always probably ends up that you get into trouble.
The sense of like feeling like you're part of a team.
Yes.
That you're not just like there by yourself. Like, no, you're part of something bigger.
And then they're like, oh, we're out of money, sorry. And you can't do that to kids. You've got to be consistent.
Just because I have a job doesn't mean I have to hate it. It's like, I have a job, but that means I can kind of do what I want to do and like make it fun. So like, I want to show up every day. I want to be able to do better.
Hop in, let's go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Totem Podcast, where an act of rebellion is to question. We got a very special guest today, and I love it because I think you could say like you're like unapologetically yourself. Like let's.
I have been told that.
And I love it because
it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
It is.
If you're not making some people mad sometimes, I don't think you're doing anything great, anything impactful.
Well, and you know how everybody wants everybody to be in the box, and I work with kids. So when you're told you're wrong and you're not doing things right when you're just being you, we tell all of our kids to be them. Because they're pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's like you think about it, it's like you're wrong, you're right, or whatever, but it's like to whose metrics? Like, have you seen that image that it says like they give all the students the same test and it's animals, like a monkey, a giraffe, a horse, like obviously, you know.
If you judge the ability of a fish to climb a tree, it's going to live its whole life thinking it's dumb.
Exactly. And that's why we teach our kids to get out of the box and be themselves and own who they are. And we have some amazing kids.
Yeah, you guys are doing some great stuff. For people that don't know who Jodi is, give us a little insight.
I am Jodi Walker. I am the founder and CEO of Kids at Their Best. And we are one of the hottest youth programs in the state of Colorado. And we're actually getting some national recognition for our innovation in programs and our innovation in problem solving. And we have some fun doing it. We are I tell everybody we are the most fun nonprofit in the entirety of Eastern Colorado. Which may not be true because there's some pretty awesome ones out there. But
so you guys have is like kind of like the model, I guess you could say you have is like kids teaching other kids how to do stuff, right?
Yes.
How'd you I'm curious, how did this happen? How'd you start this?
So we originally started out, we were feeding kids. I was trying to hire people. Nobody wants to work in the summer when it's 105 degrees. So I'm going through staffing. The kids don't necessarily like the people that we hired, and round we go, right? Because we all know how hard hiring is. So I'm sitting in the park one day with the kids, and I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. And they're like, man, we don't know what to do. You know, we can't get jobs because a lot of my kids are immigrants, and they speak a couple different languages, and they're young, and they don't have the social networks that, say, the mayor's kid might have. And it was like, we all kind of looked at each other, and it's like, I got an idea. And so that's where we started hiring kids to run my summer meal programs. And they're the experts because they're the ones that were getting those summer meals. They know the community. They're so much closer to what's cool now than I am because, I'm officially past that line. I am no longer cool. So then they get job experience, which we're all complaining about. We can't get good employees because they don't have job experience. We're getting them job experience. The little kids are getting fed. They're getting to be creative and be themselves. And then our staff is so crazy diverse that ideally every kid that comes to our summer meal programs has somebody to look up to that looks like them, talks like them, has the same experience as them, has felt like them, so they can all relate. And it's all one big circle, right?
And it's because you go apply for a job that they want you to have 10 years experience doing it. It was well, who's going to give me the experience if I never have it? And everybody, and I always think, we're talking about it the other day, everybody knows there's a problem, but nobody wants to do anything about it, I think. Everyone just kind of till it affects me, then we'll do something. But nobody wants to do anything about it.
Well, and when I was a kid, I was expected to do like the leaves and the lawn at my grandma and grandpa's because my grandma and grandpa were older. And then that included like the little old lady next door and the little old couple down from them that didn't have any grandkids. So, so you went over and you helped them out. And there was always that kind of work, shoveling snow, just little things. And I don't think that we have a lot of that for kids anymore. Everything's so automated. It's not like somebody can go next door and be like, hey, can I rake your leaves for something? We don't give them that opportunity to get out. And then again, we're like, hi, you're 16. What's your experience?
It reminds me of like when my dad or our dad had a business on Main Street. Every time it would snow, we'd go out and shovel, but then we'd also like shovel like our neighbors like sidewalk too.
Because that's the thing that makes Morgan County super cool is we all come together for each other. And I think we kind of forgot some of that.
Do you think we forgot about it, or just us as parents were kind of not like holding the line, holding that standard sometimes for the kids?
I think things have changed enough. I mean, I grew up in that era where they were like, "Oh, look, it's dawn. Walk to school and we'll see you sometime before dark," right? And
yeah.
I mean, and truthfully, and we'd walk across town. We'd walk home. We'd walk down the railroad tracks. We'd go to a friend's house. And the thought of even my kids, like, I want to know where you are. I want to know when you're coming home. I'm trying not to be that parent, but I did do that with them. I think as parents, we're scared of things. And I think we have to let go a little bit.
Throw the birdie out of the nest, kind of. Let him scrape his knees a little bit. Let him struggle it, because I heard a thing the other day. We're handicapping our own kids because we want to do everything. Like, here, I'll zip up your jacket. Here, I'll tie your shoe. Like, oh, here, I'll make you breakfast. Like, it's cool, but he's gonna have to kind of know how to do his own breakfast one day.
But how hard is that though?
What?
To like let your child fail, because I'm like, I don't have any kids, so I have no idea. But it like would seem that it'd be like really hard to like see your child like do something and like let him fail, and then just let him figure it out for themselves.
I think it's easy to let him fail. I think it's hard to watch him keep failing. Because you can watch him like, yeah, he falls, but what do? Like, we can't help him not falling, but we run up and pick him up. I think that's the, like, per se, I think. Or we're not even there when he's falling. We're always absent from the house.
Well, okay, and I grew up in the era of metal roller skates. And I always use this as an analogy because we had like a little bit of a sloping driveway, and you strapped those metal skates onto your tennis shoes, and then you went down the driveway. And parents had to know there was going to be a crash.
I was going to tell you, there's no brakes.
Like there are no brakes. There were no helmets. There were no pads. And I still have scars on my knees because of that. And I'm like, kids don't get a lot of scars anymore. And scars build character to an extent.
Yes.
Like, obviously, I do not want you always broken. But, yeah, a skinned knee here or there builds character.
Yeah. My son yesterday, I was building a shelf. He had a thing fall on him. And, like, yeah, he got, like, a little scratch right here. And it's like, I felt bad, but it's like, he literally kind of just got up himself and put the thing back. And then I see he had a scratch, But it's like, if you go over there and you pick him up right away, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we put our own limitations on our kids. We want to be like, I've struggled through all this in my life. I want to have my kids have everything, like, so they don't struggle. That's the problem.
Right, because that's like the natural inclination. I actually had, it was so funny, a couple of years ago, I had somebody call me and say, I think you need to look into child labor laws. And I'm like, we've looked into child labor. Like, what are you talking about? Well, you have a lot of kids working. It's like, yes, we do.
That's the point.
Like, they are.
Do you know what her name is?
3 hours in the summer with a meal, because all of our kids get fed, playing games with children at the park is not the same as locking 6-year-olds in a sweatshop. Like, and I think making that distinction, like, this is something healthy, and we're letting them figure out problems, and our kids design their own programs. We've got you got to see all the stuff that we have.
Yeah.
Like, walk through the building, pick what you're going to do this week, make out your lesson plan, and then implement it. We're empowering them as opposed to, I need you to make 600 lanterns with this hot metal forge. Yeah.
I think that's like important too, though. Like having kids experience that, like just because I have a job doesn't mean I have to hate it. It's like I have a job, but that means I can kind of do what I want to do and like make it fun. So like I want to show up every day. I want to be able to do better. And then they're also seeing like the effects of it, like seeing like the other kids like having fun and enjoying it too. So like I think it's like pretty cool for like them to get to experience like a job can be something you like actually like to do and want to show up to do.
And it should be, because times are changing. Like the American culture anymore is not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to give up whatever to go to work 40 hours a week. They're like, hey, I've got a family, I've got, nobody wants that hard grind anymore. And kids should learn because there's people that'll take advantage of them.
Yeah. What I really love about, I don't know if I'm sure you probably have noticed about you, but it's people always make excuses for their circumstances. And you guys have, I think it's like almost 26 languages or something like that, right?
Yeah, we
like,
speak like 12 or 13, but the county speaks 26.
So in the county, and then how much you guys have, and I don't know, you might, but I don't know if you speak every language and you still make it work. So it's...
I don't, but yes, we make it work.
So you make it work.
I have amazing people that make it work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like you don't know the language and it still works, and other people they just need to find any little excuse why. And I made a post the other day. Every excuse in the book is valid, but it's not valid for the person that you're meant to be.
Right. And when we started out and we were working with a lot of Latina immigrant moms that didn't speak a lot of English, and I didn't speak a lot of Spanish, but the one thing that we all knew is we were all moms that didn't have a whole lot of anything, and we wanted the best for our kids. And it was going to take that whole village. Like my moms would come and volunteer for me. They'd help do things. They'd make sure that their kids were there. We all worked together, and it was successful. And it didn't take fancy, a whole lot of money, a whole lot of equipment. It just takes the want.
Yeah, because you were telling me kind of where you started and stuff, like the very beginnings of it. But why did you start this? Like the whole project because it's been going on for a long time now. Why did you start it?
I started it because I got to grow. The Morgan County that I grew up in was super cool, and the chamber was really strong, and we had festivals, and you knew everybody around. And life happens then, right? So I ended up at a point in this county where I am a single mom with 3 little kids. I have virtually no job prospects. My parents are my child care. And this county looked way different. And it's like, what do you do when you don't have means? What do you do when you don't have resources? Because we all, fact after fact after fact, after school and activities are good for kids. There's no disputing that. But what do you do when you can't afford them? And what do you do when you can't get your kids there? So I started it out. I used to tell people, I started this out so my kids would have someplace to go. And then we just kept going.
Where did you start it?
We started in Brush.
Okay.
We were way back in the day on the corner of Edison and Main Street in Brush, where Cornerstone is now. We had a dance studio in there. And we made it a state-of-the-art dance studio with a spring floor and Marley covering and big mirrors. And we brought down Canyon Concert Ballet. And we took kids up to Colorado Ballet to see real live dance. And then we would take them every year to the Nutcracker, because most of the kids that are low income, it's not like their family goes to the Nutcracker every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We actually, my 40th birthday, we took 80 kids to the Nutcracker in Fort Collins. A blizzard sets in the middle of the performance. And we ended up coming back in a blizzard. It was not my plan for a birthday celebration, but we all survived, so it ended up being pretty special.
Made it work.
Yeah.
So it started as a dance kind of studio thing.
We started as a dance studio because every little girl wants to be a ballerina, right? But you can't always afford being a ballerina. So it took us about 6 months before we realized what about the boys that want to be tumblers or tap dancers, or they want to do something besides dance? And a sliding scale is sometimes too much for a family. And it doesn't matter if you have a kid that wants to do something in Wiggins and we're in Brush and you can't get them there. So that's where we started going mobile, and we started reaching out to Wiggins, Weldona, all these other places that don't get anything, because nobody back in the day, nobody was going to those areas. And then we started bringing in art, and we started bringing in speech, and we started bringing in all these just different enrichment activities. The more you know, the better you are, right? We had kids that made ornaments for the White House one year. And then we'd actually tried to stay out of Fort Morgan because Fort Morgan had some after school programs back then. But then we realized, people are notorious for starting things, and then they're like, oh, we're out of money, sorry. And you can't do that to kids. You've got to be consistent. And so now we've got 9 summer meal sites across the county, and we reach out to the high schools and the junior high, and we go to where the kids are so they don't have to worry about transportation. And then the really cool thing that we've found is if you're renting a house in Wiggins and you go to our program in Wiggins, but then your family gets a better deal in Brush and you move to Brush, then you can just go to our program in Brush. Okay. It stays consistent. So we are where the kids are, and they don't have to give up anything.
How hard was it starting out? Because we talked about it last week that most businesses fail, most small businesses fail within the first 3 weeks, and businesses after a certain amount of time or a certain amount of revenue they hit a point where they just stop growing.
True.
A nonprofit is essentially a business. You just don't make the extra profits to do all the other stuff. How hard was it? Because I imagine it's pretty hard.
I gotta tell you, if I was gonna do it again, I don't know if I would.
Really?
I mean, I was a single mom back then. I needed better for my kids. I needed better for my kids' friends. I needed better for those kids in the trailer park that didn't have anything. But and this is where everybody gets confused. A nonprofit is a business, and when you don't run it like a business, you don't have a nonprofit anymore.
That's why they disappear. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But the difference is, instead of the profits going to shareholders, the profits go back in to make the business stronger. So when we applied for our 501c3, I'm all happy about everything, and we waited, and we got the letter, and I expected a gold framed certificate because it was 26 pages or something, and I got this crooked copied rubber stamped, hey, you've been approved probationary, and I'm excuse me, I'm not probationary.
Because don't they give it that for 2 years or something?
Yeah,
and then they'll come.
It was actually a 7-year. I'm
okay.
7 years? No, yeah. I just don't understand. And a couple years into it, I was oh, this is why you do this. Because a lot of places don't. Starting a business is hard. You guys know that.
Yeah.
And starting a nonprofit business, they're usually started. Honestly, nonprofits are usually started by people with money or groups of people. We're really unique, and I'm really tenacious.
Yeah, a lot of athletes always have their own nonprofit and their
right.
way to give back, which makes sense because they're making millions of dollars, so it's
right.
a lot easier for them to do it.
Yeah, what am I going to pay taxes on this, or am I going to start a foundation? I'll start a foundation.
Exactly. That's why that you just hit the nail on the head. That's where I was going with it, because they start nonprofits because. It's good. They're I'm gonna have to get rid of these $50,000 regardless. So do I do it to a nonprofit, or do I give it back to Uncle Biden? So it's we just do.
And I really appreciate people that start nonprofits because we like to reap the benefits of those foundations and stuff.
I want to hit on where you guys go, and you guys, I don't know if you call it pantries, where you guys set up in different spots and give stuff out. Because you guys, you were telling me the other day, a lot of people, when they go, they ask for your IDs and all kinds of stuff, and you're just I don't care who you are. If you come here, we're feeding you. We're helping you out. Tell me, how's that?
Well, so back to that. it's a business and that new stuff. So we had an organization say, hey, we'll sell you this truck for really cheap if you'll start this pilot for us. And I'm like, I will do that. Did I get anything in writing? No. Did I ask about the details? No. Did this not work out the way I thought it was going to? Yes. So we actually started that mobile pantry back in 2013, way before people were doing mobile pantries, as a way to get food out in Morgan County. And we work with some different agencies, and then we didn't have the capacity to keep it going with all our other stuff. So we put the truck out in the pasture. We had the model, but it didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. Well, when the pandemic hit and everybody is like, oh, what do we do now? We went to a couple agencies and we're like, hey, we got this truck and we got a model to go with it. And if you can fund our food, we'll show you how to really make this happen. And we originally started out with 8 different locations that we would travel to. Because, I mean, it's hard. Coming to somebody else for food is hard to do. You know, and then they're going to ask you all these questions and you're already feeling crummy about yourself because through whatever circumstances you need help, and props for needing that help. But I don't think we look at people and they're like, man, you're asking for help. Good job. That's, you know, we're going to help you and we're going to help you get to the next step and the next step. So the first thing that we do is we go to where needy people are. So instead of them coming, you know, it's always weird when you're going to a stranger's house, right? So we're coming to your neighborhood and we're employing kids from your neighborhood. So when you roll up to our food trucks, odds are you know somebody because you live in that neighborhood or somebody looks familiar. And then whereas a lot of pantries want, you know, they want birth certificates and they want IDs and they want you to speak a certain language, we've got people that speak all the different languages. You know, if you don't understand what we're saying, we got somebody that can help you. We don't ask for any identification. If you're willing to come to my truck and you think you need food, we're going to get you food. It's not like we're handing out filet mignon.
Have you had people like kind of take advantage of that? Like because you guys are handing out stuff that like, oh, we know we can get the free stuff here. Like that don't really need it?
I always figure that we have 10% of people that will come to every pantry they can get their chance to.
Flies around.
Like I saw him. They'll come to every pantry they get a chance to. But I also find that a lot of times those people are like, I'm taking it to Mrs. Smith or I'm taking it to Mrs. Jones. Or they're actually dispersing it elsewhere. You know, and a lot of times there's people in Brush that will go to Brush every single month. But I know a lot of times they'll take that food and they'll share it. With it, you know, maybe Mrs. Jones is kind of housebound and she can't get out. Or maybe it's an older couple and one of them has dementia and they can't get out. I think it's all getting to where it needs to go to. So I don't know that it's really a taking advantage, but yeah.
It's like, it's pretty much like, if they are, I guess it's pretty much more like on their conscience. It's like, dude, we're doing good. Like, if that's really what you're doing with it. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, we have some awesome fresh produce. We're going to have carrots this weekend. But it's basics. It's rice, it's beans, it's pasta, it's some canned vegetables or canned fruit, it's canned protein.
So you guys aren't like preparing the food for them and then just giving it out. You're giving them like the ingredients.
No, we give shelf-stable stuff. We do recipes with it a lot of the time. We try and do cultural different recipes. So this like might be what my Latino moms are doing, and this is what my East African moms would make, and this is what I would make as an American mom. So like this is what we would all do with a can of tuna and a box of pasta, right? Yeah, I mean, food is hard. But it's nice to see people in the neighborhoods because then a lot of times when people are waiting in line, especially in the summer, they're like, oh, did you know that there's going to be a community picnic here next Friday? And somebody else is like, no, I didn't hear about that. And they're like, yeah, here's where this is going to be. Or this service is available here. And then they start talking to their neighbors. And then they start talking to the other neighbors, and then they all realize that they live close or that they have kids that go to school together. So that whole act of coming for food, which can be really humiliating, is now like, hey, I learned about this after school program for my kids, and I know the people that are down the road, and I'm going to share babysitting with this person. It all builds community, and the more we build community, the better we all are.
Yeah, that's cool. I love it. Most of the kids that do work with you guys and are on all these projects, do you recruit them, I guess you could say, to a point? Or is it just people that call in that want to work? Or do you kind of see the kids that are like, these kids need help because they're struggling or whatever, XYZ?
I have been that lady that is driven through places in Morgan County and said, hey, do you need a lunch? Do you need a job? I am not that woman anymore. I would like you to know that. I don't do the creepy stalker thing. But I did to get this started. I had a van. Hi, do you need a job? Do you want to come work for me?
Hop in, let's go.
In retrospect, I'm like, there are some very gracious parents out there that did not call the cops. Thank you so much.
There's this lady driving around the neighborhood trying to take your kids.
And handing out lunches in the process. Now, I think we have enough of a reputation. We had like 260 applicants last year. And we interview all of our applicants because kids need practice in interviews. Like, if you're going to take the time to apply, I'm going to give you an interview.
Do you do them all yourself, all the interviews? Or
No, we've got a whole team
that
does
a lot.
them.
That's a long time.
It's a lot. I mean, usually by June, we're like, who were you? When did you interview? And when we make up our summer team, we do a lot of mix. I mean, there's kids that come in and we interview them, and it's like, oh, dude, we need you. Like, you are a great artist, or you are so good with little kids, or you have some sports talent. There's people that we get because we really need them. But there's always kids that we also hire because they need us. Like, we'll get those 13, 14-year-olds that are really shy. They don't necessarily know what they want to do or anything. And we hire them and we tuck them underneath us. And I've got a couple of them over there now that have been with us for 3 or 4 years, and they are rock stars. It's like, I tell people that part of my job is to find diamonds in the rough. You know, they may not look like a diamond, but give me a little bit. They really are. And to be able to bring those kids in, they know they have a job. We do staff meetings, we do team meetings, we do retreats, we do all sorts of leadership stuff. So by the time they've been with us for a couple of years, these kids are strong, strong leaders. And it's so funny because now I'll have college ones that come back and go, do you want to, like, can I teach my group how to run a staff meeting? It's like, absolutely. Take that leadership and run with it.
That's awesome.
What, like, age ranges, like, do you look for when you're looking to hire someone?
We hire everything from 13 on up. Although I had enough 8th graders that applied last year that I cried when I saw 2009 on applications. I'm like, no, not again. But we try and hire a few of those younger kids because that's when you start getting your work ethic, right? Like, I'm making some money. What am I going to do with my money? We have a lot of kids that use their money to help out their families. You know, they're helping with rent. They're helping with utilities. They're buying their own school clothes. And we probably, I mean, I always tell people my age range is however old Raquel is at this point. So she's like almost 25. But we hire the younger kids to come on as our junior staff. We have some of them that just volunteer. Like, we really try and get the kids, no matter your circumstances, giving back to your community and asking nothing back is an important thing. You know, and we're going to give you job skills and we're going to give you a resume builder and things like that. And then we hire our regular, like, 14 to 16-year-olds. And then once they're 17, they can come on with us as AmeriCorps. And AmeriCorps is kind of a cool thing because AmeriCorps is like the American Peace Corps, but it's shorter terms. You don't have to go to another country for 3 years. You can just come work for us for 10 weeks. You don't make a wage, you make a living stipend. So it's not a lot. But then at the end, you get preferential hiring for federal jobs. You get preferential hiring at Disney. There's a lot of companies that look at AmeriCorps service, and you get an educational award depending on how many hours you served. And for our year-round kids, that's like $7,000. And then UCD, University of Arizona, I think Fort Collins are all matching those with either tuition discounts, or some schools will even match it 50-50. So you don't have $7,000 now. Now you have $15,000 toward that college education.
That's crazy. I
That's
think
pretty good.
kind of
Yeah.
like what you're talking about is it's interesting because I think sometimes as kids, like, we don't have to be a product of like our circumstances that we're in, and
Right.
sometimes the kids just need somebody kind of to believe in them,
Yeah.
that they can do something, that like all the stuff you're saying is like, you go through all this and you're still like, yeah, come on back. Like, you're still like pushing them to do the stuff. Usually if you think about it, if an employee's not cutting it, you're just like, hey, we'll see you later, but you stick with them for years. So I think
We do, and we've had kids that it's like, wow, that was, and my staff will be like, we're not hiring them back. And I'm like, we probably are. Like, they tried. And we're dealing with kids that are like 13 to 17, man. You have good years, you have bad years. There's a
Got the
whole lot of
hormones.
growth. Yeah, whole lot of things going on there. And it's so funny because when we get those kids back, and the next year they're rock stars. They like figured out, hey, that wasn't the way to do something. And then they're sharing it with other kids, which is, what's the best way to get information to kids? Get it to kids.
Yeah.
Is that like the best way, like or like the way you guys like just like recruit people now, just like word of mouth?
It's a lot of word of mouth. We now, all the schools know who we are now. So, and we'll be taking out AmeriCorps training to the schools too, so they'll understand that a little better. And the schools are really good about referring. It must be noon.
Yeah, that's how it
It's
sounds.
noon.
Like, it's noon.
It's like it's noon.
If you guys can hear that, that's the
siren.
the siren, the
Yeah.
tornado siren or whatever.
The hurricane
every
siren.
Friday at noon here
Yeah.
in Fort Morgan.
So we try and do lots of social media. We try and get the schools to refer us kids. Like, who do you have that's struggling a little bit and really needs a chance to do something? And we've really got a great learning environment and model anymore.
It sounds like you guys done like a pretty good job, because like when I was that age, I remember back then, like anything that was after school related, we'd like look down on it because you're probably like,
Yeah, 'cause it's lame, right?
that smart. It was like the lame thing to do, especially like a summer like program or whatever. Like, oh, you're doing stuff in the summer, that means you're lame. You're behind. So like, seems like it's like come a long way from like, instead of like that lame thing to do, it's becoming like that cool thing to do.
Yeah.
But Eric too. Sorry to cut you off. When you don't do the after school, like you wouldn't do anything after school. So what would you do?
Just go home and just watch TV.
Well, I think
Oh, that
that's
was
the,
constructive.
I think
just
that's
waste some time.
I think that's the
But
problem.
that was the cool thing to do. That's what everybody else was doing, so that was the cool thing to do. So that's what everybody did.
I think that's like the problem. Like, I'm a firm believer. Like, even to this day, like the more time you have when you have nothing to do, it always probably ends up that you get into trouble. Like, you got too much time. If you're in business, you can't say you got too much time when you're in business. Like, dude, start freaking
never have
reading
too much
something.
time.
You don't have enough time.
Yeah, or
There's
like
never enough time.
or something like go work out. So if you're young, you don't got a job, you don't got any. So it's like you just start getting into trouble, and there's a lot of kids that were out on the streets, just getting into trouble, getting into
Well, especially
that
around
vulnerability
here, because like it's rural, like city. There's not much to do. There's not
Yeah.
much
Yeah,
activities.
it's not like there's an arcade.
Exactly.
There's a lot of there's pretty much what there's gonna be. There's gonna be like drugs and alcohol. Those are like the biggest things. And it's funny, but it's like I was the bad kid when I was young. I would get in trouble. I got caught a couple times, doing that stuff. So I know what it is. So I know having too much time is not the solution. So I think it's awesome especially how your guys' stuff. You guys got a great setup. How you have it, like.
Well, in our summers, like you get grandma cooks food for you and cooks breakfast for you every Friday at the staff meeting. We always do cool stuff at the staff meeting.
So today's
My office
today's
is
Friday.
horrible
It's not
about
summer, though.
but it's not summer.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Every Friday in the summer,
You're gonna see me there every
we
Friday
do. My office is horrible about playing pranks on each other. They're kids, man. It should be fun. They're horrible about playing pranks on me. I am old. I don't always get it. And then at the end of the summer, our top leaders, We take part of them to Breck. We go whitewater rafting. We went on an overnight at Jackson Lake that was so much fun, and went paddleboarding. So they always get to go on some kind of cool trip to do something. It builds their leadership skills. It takes them out of their usual element. So we are the cool thing to do in the summer.
Is it just like for like the staff that you do that, or for the kids too?
We just do it for staff.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I try not to take my little kids anywhere. Like,
What's like the, I guess like the age range for like the kids that like participate in
the kids participate are usually like 4 to 12.
Okay.
A lot of that elementary school age. And then once they're 12, you're like too cool to go to programs, right? Like,
Yep,
like
too
you
cool.
were, right?
Yeah.
But if you can get a T-shirt and you can be junior staff,
Sign me up.
isn't that a
That's the
reason?
main thing. As long as you get them a T-shirt, they'll go.
Because with I think it comes with like responsibility. Like now you gotta.
Yeah, but
Like,
now
gotta
you're
keep-
like
well,
more of a grown up. You're not
you're
a
like
little
a grown
kid.
up. You got
You're
responsible.
Like,
I think that's where
It's
it's.
that, but then also like the sense of like feeling like you're part of a team.
Yes.
That you're not just like there by yourself. Like no, you're part of something bigger. I think
that's where a lot of our expectations come in too, because, I mean, we're getting our new stickers, but we have a tagline every summer, and this summer the tagline was learn, grow, evolve. And we all sat down and we were talking about it, and it's like, that's not just a summer tagline, that's who we are. Because the more you learn, the more you grow, right? And the more you grow, the more you evolve. And you may see things different.
Circle, yeah.
Exactly. And we've actually seen some people that like they quit learning and they quit growing and they just stay stuck where they're at. And that's not cool.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think they stop learning and stop evolving?
I think some people get scared because new things are scary, right? Like I actually had a kid tell us one time, he's like, the first time I walked in, I had never seen all those different kinds of people. Like, there were people that I did not hang out with. And it's like, yeah, and what did you think by the end of the summer? And he's like, I learned that I love this food, and I learned to say hello in this language, and I learned that there's different people than me, and they're super cool too. And that's the whole object.
It's like some kids, like as they're growing up, they're like just in this bubble that their parents create for them, and they only experience life a certain way. But then it's like the key is to like opening your horizons to what else is out there.
Right. And I mean, it's easy to get in a bubble, right? Like you go to work and you go to school and you come home and you like this is your little chunk of the world, right? And all those scary things are going outside your chunk of the world. But sometimes you got to get into the scary things and see what it's like. As an agency, we are constantly on the edge and we are constantly a front runner. And now we're just like, you're uncomfortable? Everybody should be uncomfortable. We should all be uncomfortable.
That's
What
the point.
what age do you think that people start like trying to become more comfortable, like in adults too?
I think we see it with teenagers sometimes. I
Right.
mean, we've had some people that are like, I had a kid one day, we were going to one of our programs in a trailer park, and she's like, you want me to work here? I'm like, yeah, this is the site, man. This is where we're at. Here's our shelter. And she's like, yeah, I don't think so. And actually left, and we were all like, really?
But where I was going with it, I think like when do they stop evolving? When do they stop learning as adults? Because I don't know who this person is. I don't know their circumstances, but I think it goes like as adults, we go adults, and then we become parents or whatever. If that's the route we want to choose, but then we turn our limitations on our kids. Say for example, like my daughter, like she needs to see me struggling, like if I'm working out, because she needs to know that I struggled, like, hey, I'm done, like, and I'm okay.
Right.
She needs to be able to see that. And a lot of the kids that like they give up easy and stuff like that, I don't think they have any struggles or their examples. We become a person, like the 5 people we hang around with. That's who we become. So if all those people we are around us are like they quit easy, they're kind of like losers and stuff like that. Guess what? That's us too.
Yeah.
So I think the people that was my question. I was going like, what age do you think, like, as we become adults and stuff, that happens where we're just like, I'm good and stuff? Because I usually see it like when people graduate, they get a job, they got a title, so now they're like, dude, I know how to do this, I'm good. That's, I think.
I think that's some of it. I think when we become parents, you know, like automatically when you become parents, you quit staying out late and you quit doing risky things because you have a small child with you. And I think it's easy for that to close us in. And then you don't, like, did you buy your kid metal roller skates? No. They've got a helmet, they've got knee pads, they've got elbow pads. They've got all those things. You want them to be better and you want them to be safer. But I think it's hard to decide where that line is. Like, I want you to grow. You know, I want you to see me struggle so you know reality. And I also think I've been talking with so many educators and so many other youth professionals on this lately. Kids got messed up by COVID. Like, they got to learn online for a couple years for the most part. And now they're like, oh, that was too hard. And it's like, I need you to troubleshoot that. And they're like, nope, it was too hard. I mean, we had some of that this summer. That I had some of my older staff that are like, what is happening? It's like, they missed some important years of socialization. And I don't know what we were going to do, but like, we got to fix this because...
we're talking with the friend of the other day. She's a teacher at the high school, and she was like, "Yeah, we're getting like that kind of COVID generation coming in, and it's a lot different than what we're used to."
Yeah, because they're like, a lot of them like, "Oh, that was hard. We're quitting." It's like, it's marshmallows and spaghetti. Try again. It won't hurt you. Yeah, it's really interesting.
That's what I mean. It's that thing, like, it's hard. We all get caught up with life, but like, I don't let them off the hook that easy. Like the parents, like, stop fucking putting excuses. I don't let them off the hook that easy because we're all busy. We all got stuff to do, but you chose this life. Like, nobody chose it for you. Yep. You chose to buy the new car, the new house, to get in debt. Now you have to work. You chose this. Nobody did it for you. So now you're living a life where you don't have a lot of choices because you made these other choices that now you're stuck here.
Yes.
And so now we're like, oh, I got a kid. It's like, now they blame it on the kids, and I don't know.
That's unfair to the kids.
That's unfair. Yeah, I don't think that's fair.
That's a bullshit ass excuse for the kids.
Well, and that whole like, I have made these choices and now I'm stuck here because I have to work so much to pay for my lifestyle, is kind of the same as, you know, I can't get into that good paying job, or I have a smaller house. You know, like, everybody ends up stuck in places. But it's what you do with that stuck. Like during the 50s and 60s, most people around here grew up in 2-bedroom houses. You slept in bunk beds. You didn't have a big king-size bed. You didn't have a bedroom to yourself. I know a friend of mine, there were 5 kids. It was a 2-bedroom house, and they only had 1 bathroom. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, we don't all get our own bathroom. I'm like, I was an only child. I had my own bathroom, thank you. But things like that, I feel like that was the norm, man. You shared. You learned to work around things. You learned to work together. And I feel like we're missing a little bit of that.
I do too. I think that misconnection, like you're saying, it's not there no more. Really. That's the easiest thing, though. Like, we can just sit there, we can just complain, or we could do something
about it.
You don't have to be someone's opinion. It doesn't have to be your realities. But it's not going to be easy to get out of that reality. And that's the thing. I think we're taught as young kids. I don't know if it's like as your parents, the school system, like, what is it? But we're taught to seek comfort. And I don't think we have to seek comfort. I think we have to seek progress. Because you do something like, cool, I did this today, I can do a little bit more tomorrow. Or I did this and I can do a little bit more tomorrow. Just like a stepping stool instead of just like, I'm happy. If you just seek happy, you're going to be miserable because most of the time you're not going to be happy. Happy is like, you might be happy, something happens, and now you're mad. Right. But that doesn't mean you're going to feel like a failure. Like, I don't know.
And I think there's virtue in being comfortable in the uncomfortable. Like, that's what we always tell our, I mean, when we took our kids to San Diego to speak at this national conference last year, they were like, we're going to speak in front of how many people? And it's like, well, there's like 4,000 people at the conference. I don't know how many are going to be in your session. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Let me backtrack. I mean, and they were justifiably like, we're scared. And it's like, yeah, but you're the experts. People have sought out your expertise on a national level because what you're doing at home. And making them really sit with that thought about, okay, I'm super uncomfortable and I'm freaked out about talking to these people, but yeah, I know what I do. And they got up there, and after about the first 3 minutes, they rocked it. The first 3 minutes were like, hello?
Getting over the nerves.
Yeah.
Hello? You know, and then they got into their groove, and people were like, oh my gosh.
Like the biggest thing is like, and then how did they feel afterward? I'm pretty sure they were just like, we're great. We did awesome.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, I think, the point. Like, you do it. Once you get over it, you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
It wasn't that
Now
bad.
you got something
It
else,
wasn't that bad.
something else in your toolkit that you've done and you know that you can do well. What's the next thing?
Yeah, that's
So
great.
if someone's watching this and they want to like help out, if like a younger kid, like if they're seeing they want to like be able to like volunteer or apply, or if a parent's like seeing this and they want to like send their kids to the program, like how does that all work?
So you can go to our website, kidsattheirbest.org. You can sign up on things there. You can send us an inquiry form. You can donate, throwing out this shameless thing of we have a $50,000 match that we're trying to match. So if you're thinking about donate, think about us. You can also stop by the office, swing by, see what we've got going. Come check out our after school programs. We have super cool stuff going there. We should be opening junior high programs in November. We've got a super cool thing going with the MBA called Math Hoops. So stay tuned for that. So stop by, check out our website, or give us a call at 970-380-6096.
Awesome. Appreciate it. I mean, yeah, I think everybody should, donate if you can. I think you should. If not, you should at least share it, talk about it, so for more people to know about it,
If you can, donate
We've got
monetary wise,
volunteer.
donate with the share button, donate with the like button, and then all that stuff.
Yeah, come volunteer for us. Come see who we are, because we still have people that are like, I've never heard of that program. I'm like, And be comfortable in the uncomfortable. It's fun out here.
It's fun. It's a great time. Well, Jodi, appreciate you for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate
This is
you
awesome.
taking time out of your busy schedule to come on. out
Just
here and
more
talk to
cool
us.
stuff in our cool neighborhood.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we're just scratching the surface with like so much other, like we're talking about at the beginning.
yeah.
Most podcasts aren't on camera, but it's great.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much.
Okay,
thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
And guys, if you're still watching, make sure to subscribe to the channel and share it around with one of your friends. Catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks, guys.